Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of Showcase Central. I am your host, Nate Branco here, and we got a lot to dive into today, man. This is going to be some interesting topics, and I can't wait to share it with you guys, man. So stay tuned. So to kick off this pod, we're going to talk about Raleigh. Raleigh lands on the 10-day IL for the first time in his career, and it's with a right oblique strain. Raleigh last year was an AL MVP runner-up. This man had 62 home runs last year, and it was spectacular to watch. It was spectacular, man. So far this season, not exactly the way he'd want it to be. He is batting 161 as an average with 7 home runs and 18 ribbies. His current average is the second lowest among qualified hitters in the majors, just above Cedric Mullins, who has 150 from the Tampa Bay Rays. What happened to Raleigh, man? I know it's early in the season, but what happened? He couldn't have any momentum from last year into this year. I don't know, did he change his swing? Did he mess up on some swinging mechanics? Like, what happened, man? The study of Raleigh definitely needs to be studied. I'll tell you this, the Big Dumper, as his nickname, I'm pretty sure the fans rather go take a big dump than watch Raleigh swing this season, man. Or be at bat, whatever. It's just insane. But, hey, it is what it is. It's still very, very early. But with that corresponding move, the Seattle Mariners recalled catcher Johnny Pereda from AAA Tacoma. Seattle is not far from 500. Of course, they have other guys in that lineup who can carry the runs in presence there. Sticking with the AL, why is the American League so shitty? Honestly, guys, I've been wondering this for about a good month now. And the teams in the AL, such as the Tampa Bay Rays, the New York Yankees, the Cleveland Guardians, the Chicago White Sox, who are just hovering above 500 right now, being at 22 and 21. Shocking, I know. And then you got the A's, the Athletics, man. Holy crap. If you would ask me if the A's would be holding down the fort in the AL West, I would have told you, you know what? They have the talent. They've locked down talent this offseason. Heck, look at the talent that they have, man. They locked down Soderstrom. They locked down Lawrence Butler. They got Jeff McNeil in a trade. Heck, they have Nick Kurtz. They have Brent Rooker. They literally have all this beautiful talent around them. They look good in the future, man. I will say that right now, including Jacob Wilson, Zach Geloff. And if you had to ask me, I think the A's have the perfect core to go on a good run in the future, especially going to Las Vegas in the nearby future. They just have to change up that pitching, honestly. They do. I feel like with maybe some young guns or even trades, but who the heck wants to go to the A's because their owner is so cheap as hell, but yeah, he's dishing out contracts like this. I don't understand it, but hey, to reach their own. But yeah, those are the teams in the AL right now that actually are holding down the winning front. It's crazy, but that's just the way it is right now. Atlanta. The whole NL Central is above 500, man. If you would have asked me if that would happen, I would have been like, you're crazy. That is not the case. This is actually happening. And then you got, your typical Los Angeles Dodgers, and then you got the Padres. That tells you right there the National League is literally a whole lot better than the American League looks. And it actually makes the teams like the AL Central look like dog shit. But hey, everybody's going to find their come up at some point. It's still very early. And some teams make those same teams that I was just talking about. Maybe they dip and they go on the downfall. Some maybe on the uprise. But yeah, that's just the current state of the MLB right now. So we're going to kind of stick on this league topic right now because this kind of drove me crazy over the week. And rightfully so, though. So what's up with rivalry weekend? I don't know if you guys took a look at the schedule, but the Phillies versus the Pirates. You got the Orioles versus the Nats, the Nationals. And then you got the Padres versus the Mariners, the Vader Cup, and etc. So pretty much you got interleague matchups everywhere this weekend. And let me just tell you from my personal grasp at this, it's lame. It's not a ratings grabber at all. At all. And I'll tell you why. Interleague matchups, yeah, they're cool every once in a while, but why have a whole weekend upon it, man? Like, seriously. Like those matchups I just listed, it's literally two teams that are from the same state. Let me give you some right now. Phillies versus the Pirates. That's literally a battle of Pennsylvania. And then you got the Royals versus the Cardinals. That's literally the battle of Missouri. And then, let's see, the Giants versus the A's. That's literally the Bay Area Cup. Like, I feel like this is just, like, it's just a little award-winning matchup. Like, this isn't winning the Oscars or anything. It's not the final two who are going to win the Oscars and who has the best performance of the series. That's just insane. I don't know about you guys, but I do not care for it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll still watch the Sox take on the Braves in Atlanta, but that's just my take on that. If you really had to ask me, why don't we go back to the old school rivalries, man? Why don't we go back to the Red Sox versus the Yankees, whether it's in the Bronx, whether it's in Fenway? Why don't we go to the Dodgers versus the Padres, or even the freaking Mariners versus the Astros, or even just spitting out ones like that, Cubs and Cardinals. And let me just tell you, those interleague matchups, those are not rivalries, man. And the ones that I had just listed, those are rivalries. I don't know if you guys remember this from some odd years ago. I believe it was 2019. Does anybody remember when the MLB took their first trip to London? And who played the first match? Who were the first two teams to make their appearance there? It was the Red Sox versus the Yankees. I remember watching the first game, and I thought it was the dopest thing since sliced bread. I thought it was amazing. I was like, you know what? The MLB's trying to make this into a global game. I thought this was great. I thought it was a great thing that Manfred did. And you know what's funny? You know what the ratings were on that one? Skyrocketed. It was something new. It was something fresh. It was something I enjoyed personally. And it was that good that I believe 2 years later, they sent the Cubs and the Cardinals over there. And honestly, it was just as good. Like, I felt like it brought fan bases from like the Sox and the Yankees and like the Cubs and the Cardinals, from like those four different teams. It all merged into one arena, add a whole different new atmosphere that that London, England, I think has ever seen. I thought it was perfect. And that was just it gave on Fox. The ratings were skyrocketed. I wish they can go back to that. But it seems like they're branching out into new areas such as like Mexico and such. But going back on the rivalries talk though, bring them back, man. Why don't we just do that next year or something like that? We could bring back the old school rivalries to take upon rivalries weekend. And then I feel like that would be such a nice ratings grabber, because I feel like this time ratings weekend, this is more like interleague weekend, guys. Let's be real. I don't find this to be exciting. I really don't. But hey, it is what it is. And the MLB is going to soak up all the money they can just from these matchups, and people still buy tickets to these games, because it's their teams. You got to root them on. And you'll have some teams like Yankee fans and Mets fans. Of course, you got some that will, some of them will hate each other. But hey, that's what it is. One of the teams we'll talk about here has been pretty damn good as of late. Let's talk about the Atlanta. They are hot, hot, hot. The Braves are the first team to 30 wins this season. They currently stand at a record of 30-14. In their last 10 games, they're 6-4. Atlanta, they have improved so much big time this year, man. Last year, they were banged up with injuries. Their pitching did not look good last year. It was kind of weird because I remember when Atlanta was going through a youth movement over there. Austin Riley. You had the veteran Freddie Freeman over there. Acuna, Ozzy Albies, and so on. They looked good. And they won a World Series with that type of roster. Atlanta, it looks like they're going back to their old ways. You got players such as Drake Baldwin, Ozzy Albies, Matt Olson, and even Michael Harris II really having good, exceptional years. And then you got the pitching staff, such as veteran Chris Sale. You got Bryce Elder there. They're holding down the rotation. Spencer Strider, he's just battling back from injury. And so far, he's at least started one game. And he looked good in his start. If only he can get back to full strength, then the Atlanta rotation, along with Grant Holmes and rookie J.R. Ritchie, they got to carry their own weight, of course. That Atlanta pitching rotation has potential to be one of the best rotations in all of baseball. They have the third best odds, I believe, to win the World Series, but we shall see. Speaking of DraftKings, guys, I was recommended this past Monday to do something cool for you guys. Bettors who are watching this video, I have a fun surprise for you. So at the end of every video, we're going to do a little segment called Lock of the Day. And this is a little game that we're going to do. And this is totally up to you guys. And this is pretty much of my opinion that I'm going to share to you guys. And I'm going to choose a matchup from that certain day, that certain Monday, that certain Friday. I will dish out the pitching matchups to you guys. I'll dish out the team matchups to you guys. And you guys could take my word for it on who I think is going to win. I was recommended to this by my Little League coaches, Sean and Ray. Shout out to you guys. All love. And the first matchup that we are going to roll with is the Subway Series, the New York Yankees versus the New York Mets. And we have Cam Schlitter versus Clay Holmes. Shout out to Cam Schlitter, Walpole, Mass native. And let's be real, those two have been having really good years thus far. I will dish out the winner right now, and that is the New York Yankees. I think the Yankees have the bats, and I do think that Cam Schlitter, he does rack up a lot of Ks. I think he's going to get to that Mets lineup tonight, and that is my take. So if you guys want to end up taking me up on that offer right now, go right ahead. But I got the Yankees over the Mets tonight. That right there wraps up episode 2 of Showcase Central, ladies and gentlemen. So I would like to say, like and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you back on Monday for another episode of Showcase Central. Take care, guys.